So, we've already talked about which MCU characters are going to survive the upcoming Secret Wars reboot. Go watch that video if you haven't done so already. It will be linked in the description. But now I wanted to talk about what the MCU will actually look like post-reboot. Which heroes will Marvel focus on, and what movies will kick off this brand new era? And overall, what will the first phase of this new MCU give us? I'm just going to be giving my take and predictions on what we can expect, but I would love to hear your thoughts as well, so comment down below. But look, when it comes to building this new era of the MCU after Secret Wars, the first question the MCU needs to answer is who will be your cornerstone set of characters? Who in specific are you going to build this new MCU storyline around? These cornerstone characters can come in the form of pre-existing characters that we have right now, or they could be brand new characters, or you could even have a mix of both. But regardless, you need those main characters of the MCU. In the past, we had Tony Stark as Iron Man and Steve Rogers as Captain America. Those were our cornerstone characters. The entire MCU story ran through these guys. Now, you could also count Thor in that conversation, but he wasn't quite as important. But look, these days, I would argue we've actually been missing our cornerstone characters, which is part of why I think the MCU has had a rough past 5 years. You got rid of Iron Man and you got rid of Captain America, but you didn't propel anyone else into that top spot afterwards. But let's get back to the rebooted MCU. Who are some potential characters that could be main faces post Secret Wars? I have a few predictions. There are of course a ton of possibilities, but I think I've come up with a new big three. For starters, we have the X-Men. The MCU has been itching to throw this group into the mix with the Marvel's post-credit scene and all of Deadpool and Wolverine, and just recently, they're pretty much bringing back the entire Fox X-Men lineup for Doomsday. Now, for this reboot, I'm fully expecting the X-Men to be recast. I think for this brand new era, you have to start with a fresh iteration of the X-Men, and honestly, that may apply to Hugh Jackman as Wolverine as well. I know Deadpool said till he's 90, but I think if you truly want to make the X-Men one of the main faces of this rebooted MCU, you gotta go fresh. Now, there is the possibility of getting a bunch of brand new actors to play Cyclops, Storm, Nightcrawler, but have Hugh Jackman's Wolverine stay put and come up with some storyline where this version of Wolverine joins this new version of the X-Men. If you really wanted to keep Hugh Jackman, you could do something cool like that. But alongside the X-Men, we have the Fantastic Four. We just got their movie. The Fantastic Four are a main staple within Marvel, and I think they seriously have the potential to spearhead this new era of the MCU. Then, to round out this trio, we have Spider-Man, and specifically Tom Holland. I believe he will be a pioneer, if not the face of the MCU heading into this reboot. I know it's been recently reported that this will be his final trilogy as Spider-Man, but that's still plenty of time to use him as the main character within the new MCU. Once this reboot starts, you'll still have 2 movies left within his second trilogy, and then you could also throw him into a few other movies as well within that time span. I mean, this one just feels like a no-brainer. He is Marvel's most popular hero ever. He's probably the most popular character still left within the MCU. He's maybe their only certified cash cow that's left. I mean, you have to make Spider-Man either the main face or one of the main faces post-reboot. I know this reboot is seeking to make the MCU feel fresh and new, but you gotta hang on to some of those old characters, and Spider-Man is definitely one of them. But what do you think? The X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and Spider-Man leading the rebooted MCU into the future. I think that is a solid group to build around, but I'd love to hear your opinions as well. Of course, there's still characters like Thor, maybe a recasted T'Challa, Doctor Strange, Sam Wilson. These guys all have a great chance of being cornerstone characters as well. But the group that I've chosen, I think, have the perfect mix of either being new and fresh, or in Spider-Man's case, ultra popular. I mean, imagine seeing Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Reed Richards in the spotlight together, leading the MCU. I mean, that's just peak. But now that we have our predicted main characters for the rebooted MCU, I now want to give my prediction on what movies we can expect with this reboot. The MCU that we know and love opened up with characters like Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Hulk, but what about this new rebooted MCU? What is that initial lineup of movies going to look like? Well, of course, I'm predicting we get something for each of these 3 characters, but specifically, I think your first movie has to be Spider-Man 5. I mean, Iron Man 1 opened up the MCU, so it would be poetic for his successor to open up the rebooted version. Also, starting with Spider-Man would ensure that the rebooted MCU starts off on the right foot financially, because once again, Tom Holland as Spider-Man is still the biggest draw Marvel has, in my opinion. But then for your second movie, I think this is where you go bold. You give us something completely new. You give us an X-Men film. You gotta introduce these guys early on. Doing so will ensure that this actually feels like a reboot and a new version of the MCU. Just introduce these guys in an amazing way and have them be main players for years to come. Then for film number 3, I think you have options. You could go with a Fantastic Four sequel, which I think will and should happen. It's just a matter of when. Or I was also thinking maybe you go with a Hulk movie. I mean, just picture this. We get a brand new actor to play Bruce Banner. We get a fresh new version of the Hulk. You do him justice. I mean, I would be thrilled to have a Hulk movie be the third installment within the rebooted MCU. And look, Mark Ruffalo, he's done an amazing job over the years, but I think his Hulk has just run its course. Now, hopefully Brand New Day can change my mind, but I think with this reboot, your best move would be to introduce a new Hulk very early on, do him correctly, and keep him as an important player for years to come. So yeah, a new good Hulk movie should be the third installment. Then afterwards, I think a Fantastic Four sequel would be the way to go. We know that Doomsday is going to bring them into the MCU universe that we know, but we don't know how Doomsday or Secret Wars is going to end. Maybe they'll go back to their own Earth, maybe they'll stick around in ours, or maybe all universes will collide and we'll just get one world. But regardless, you do need another installment of this Fantastic Four squad. I'd like it if they stayed in the mainline MCU universe. Just give us a brand new villain for them to fight. Maybe you could hint at Galactus returning eventually. Also, have Spider-Man appear in this movie. After all, it will be in New York. You get some connectivity in the early stages of the rebooted MCU, and also they have a ton of chemistry in the comics. And then for film number 5, you could do an X-Men 2, or maybe you do a Thor 5. As for Thor, we know he's sticking around, and with that being the case, he's gonna need another movie. Now, you don't even have to connect this movie to any of the other movies we've just discussed. This could take place on a completely different planet, but just give us a good Thor movie to remind us that, hey, he's still around. And then for film number 5, you could either give us X-Men 2 or focus on expanding. If you go the expanding route, this would be a great place for a Black Panther movie, assuming Marvel does decide to recast T'Challa, or maybe you give us another Sam Wilson Captain America movie. But if you ask me, we should just take a page out of the OG MCU's book and stick to just establishing certain characters before expanding. In Phase 1, we got 2 Iron Man movies, Hulk, Thor, Captain America, and then you brought them all together in the Avengers. So I think we would be better off with the second X-Men movie, really just developing those characters and putting them on the main stage, making them fan favorites, and then you could potentially end this phase off with a big team-up film, but honestly, I'm not sure that would make too much sense right now, so instead I thought we could just have certain characters show up in each other's movies, right? Like we already talked about Spider-Man being in Fantastic Four 2, but you could also throw Wolverine into the Hulk movie. I think everyone wants to see that fight. They teased it in Deadpool and Wolverine, but let's get it for real here. And then just do a few more crossovers like that, and I think this would be a fantastic Phase 1 for the rebooted MCU. And then in Phase 2, you could go crazy and expand with a Black Panther movie, Captain America, you could get crazy and give us like a Nova movie, just introduce more of the characters who you want to be important, and then eventually give us that big team-up movie within Phase 2, however you want to do it. But I'm not going to go in depth with this video because this is about Phase 1, or at least the initial slate of movies that will open up the rebooted MCU. But tell me, what are you guys thinking? Spider-Man 5, the X-Men, the Hulk, Fantastic Four 2, and then X-Men 2. I think that's a pretty great lineup. I think there's some decent structure there. It's definitely not perfect, so let me know how you would go about opening up the rebooted MCU. It's a very exciting topic. But yeah, guys, that's all I've got for today. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. Also, let me know any other videos you want to see here on the channel. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.